First pitch starting off as a strike in this game against New South Wales and South Australia. We're here on day 3 at the Gilley Shield at Waverley Softball Association in Melbourne, Victoria. And centre field gets to that fly ball. Made some good ground there. We'll start off with 1 out for South Australia, bringing Diaz up. That batter that hit that out to centre field was in fact centre fielder Olivia Elliott for South Australia as the lead-off hitter. Regan Diaz, second batter. My name is Jo Shutt and I have my boss alongside me, one of them, Claire Walker. How you going, Claire? How you going? We good?
Very good.
Ready to
making my commentary debut for Softball Australia, Jo.
Excellent.
Thanks for inviting me along.
It's a week of firsts. I made mine on Tuesday, so you'll be.
You're a pro.
You'll be a pro like me. Absolutely, highly overrating myself. Diaz has popped that up for a foul ball.
Oh, it's such a highlight to be here at Waverley Association and amongst the softball community, enjoying a week of softball.
Is this your first tournament that you've attended?
No, I was in Canberra last year for a men's tournament, but first Open Women's Nationals.
So you were at Skins at Canberra, or it was the
Australia
Aussie after Skins?
Yeah, Australia v New Zealand.
Diaz has grounded out to first base. 2 out. First 2 hitters out for South Australia. Amelia Fidge, the DP, up to bat. So for New South Wales Fire Stars, we've got Grace Rickson pitching. She's pitching to Madison Baker. Jenna Trim at first base. Alyssa Mile at second base. Shaylin Watman is around at third base. And that pitch coming in high. Stacey McManus at shortstop. Rachel Lack, left field, Michelle Cox at centre field, and Shannon Keevers around at right field.
What's been the highlight for you, Jo, so far this week?
I think the last 2 years I've actually been here at Waverley for the under-16s. So this is my first Gilley Shield, but the highlight is no doubt having the 14s and the Open Women's together and seeing how much the young kids love being in this environment and actually seeing the excitement. I got goosebumps the other day when I was watching the under-14 girls and I was sitting with the parents, the Victorian parents, and just wait for this pitch.
Oh, it's an amazing opportunity for the young ones to be inspired by, you know, some of the players that they look up to in the Aussie Spirit squad. You know, you've got Stacey McManus playing her 20th year, which has no doubt come up in the commentary already this week. 20th year playing nationals for New South Wales.
Absolutely. That one takes it to full count. So when I was sitting with the parents and one of the new little players, it's her first experience at Nationals, and she was fighting really hard in the batter's box, just continually fouling it off. All the parents were jumping up and down cheering for her, and then she hit a ground ball through and a walk. hit the ground ball through the infield, made it to first base and scored a run, and the parents were ecstatic, and I was just so excited for them. I had goosebumps. So that was probably one of my highlights. Neely Peterson is up third. We have a runner on base, 2 out for South Australia. Peterson's been the catcher for quite a few games, just playing first base today for South Australia. And ball outside.
Now, Joe, there was a participation clinic earlier in the week.
Yes.
How did that go?
Fantastic. Tim did a great job entertaining the kids for a couple of hours yesterday. We had quite a few registered and a few who were here participate. That was 2 hours of catching, throwing, hitting. They played a game, and they'll be doing that again tomorrow. So he's got a few registered, and any kids who are here are welcome to jump in and participate. Tim's one of our participation coordinators.
Yes, Tim's had quite a tenure with softball, a lot of involvement over the years.
Certainly has. Crowd not quite liking that pitch, thought potentially that it was a little bit high. It's Peterson on 2 balls and 2 strikes. And she's fouled off that high one. So what have your thoughts been on this tournament so far?
Oh, it's a fantastic facility for one, and great to have, you know, all the teams in close proximity competing. Great for the crowd, great vibe.
Lovely line drive out to left field. Perfectly placed between shortstop and third base. Runners on 1 and 2, 2 out. Jessica Rhodey up to bat. Count 1 and 1. And the runners have advanced on that pass ball. Lovely pitch there, having just reached for it. We'll get to that, and it's 3 out. Unfortunately, not converting those runners on base into runs in the first innings. There's plenty of softball to go. I'm sure they'll give it another red hot crack.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of action to come.
So tell us about what your role involves, Claire, if you can. I know that it's very hard to summarise.
Try and summarise it into one succinct sentence. So as the General Manager of Game Development, my role is to oversee the whole game of softball in Australia, so all the elements that contribute to the game, whether that be the player development or coach education, umpires and statisticians, and all the elements that make the game what it is and able to be played, of course. As you know, Joe, Softball Australia will be launching a participation campaign this year around We Love Softball, So Will You. So for any live stream viewers, keep an eye out for participation programs in your state, and perhaps if you're really keen, head to the Softball Australia website and find a club near you and check out what's going on in your local area.
So it's quite a broad coverage, game development, because it means, everything from coaching, scoring, umpiring, all elements of the game. And there are so many different elements of this game that are quite involved.
Yes.
It's not, standing on the sideline marking a line on the paper when someone scores a goal.
No, that's true.
Not to minimise any other scoring efforts of any other sport, but it is extremely complicated. And there's levels and all sorts of things.
Yeah, it's a very strategic game with a lot of nuances, and hence the number of officials that you have involved in every game out there. A lot of different angles and nuances to rules that need to be officiated.
Loving these chants.
In New South Wales, having a bit of fun.
Not sure if you can hear that through our microphones, but Michelle Cox has her own theme song in the batter's box.
I'm not sure. I don't know how she can concentrate with that little jingle going on the sidelines.
It's made that past second base. Ground ball to right field, get it first. See, the chants work, Claire.
Yeah, it clearly does. We've proven that theory.
We've got Shannon Keevers putting the bunt down. Diaz having a really quick look at two, but Cox already there, and she makes the out at one. So runner on two. And one out for New South Wales.
Got Jenna Trim.
Sacrifice bunt.
Another highlight, Joe, over the last few months was attending the China Series tournament at Redlands in Queensland and watching the Aussie Spirit play very impressively against China.
I watched a bit of that on the live stream. It was fantastic that we can showcase our Australian players, but also provide them with that opportunity to play some really high quality softball against international teams. And that'll be strike three for Jenna.
Yeah, it's great at this tournament to be able to see some of our Aussie Spirit players come out and represent their state.
Absolutely, it creates a really full calendar and schedule for them when they're training state, national, and most likely, most of them will be playing club as well. So it's a very full schedule of softball for them. So no doubt you would have learnt a lot about softball over the last 6 months or so.
Yes, I do have a sports science degree from many moons ago, and it was very interesting being at the AIS with some of the battery program pitches and catches and looking into the biomechanics of the pitching action and how to improve your velocity and force.
Yeah.
So interesting to see the different techniques on display during this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting to watch.
It's such a complicated movement, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It really is. And it's so nuanced.
I think I need lessons.
I'm sure there'd be a few people around the park who could teach you.
I'm sure there would.
I'm not one of them, let's just say.
In fact, we've got Joyce Lester sitting not too far away from us, Joe, at the moment. I'm sure she could teach me a thing or two about softball.
Absolutely. Safe at home. Great hit out to left field. Just hit in the gap and scored 2 runs. Good throw from Rhodey, the right fielder, into home plate, but both runners getting in time. Just having a look at the replay.
Great slide in from Cox just to seal the deal at the end there.
Beautiful job. So have you had a turn at facing a pitcher, Claire? Have you had
I had the first week I started in July last year, I had a machine pitch.
Okay.
And they had to turn it down to the slower style so I could make contact with the ball.
Well, that's where you start.
That's
and then
right.
you get faster and faster, move up from there.
We all start somewhere.
Exactly right.
I had the opportunity this week to jump into the statisticians' room and see the behind the scenes of what they do during a tournament like this. That was very interesting.
I think that's one of the things that I love about being at these tournaments is just seeing all the different, as you said, and you see it from, I guess, an administrative point of view and working on the development and growing
improvement of the game.
Improvement, exactly. So to see when we come to these tournaments, the scorers are, they have their own space. We halve the room off at Waverley so that the scorers have it's fouled off, have, their area to do their thing. We've got the selectors, we've got the umpires who also have their own space, and the coordination that goes on around allocating the umpires to the games is incredible. All of it is just so complex.
Yeah, the debriefing, the umpires debrief after every game. Have up-and-coming umpires that are, getting assessed and mentored throughout the tournament to make improvements, not much different to a player, really, is it? And I think sometimes people don't see all the behind the scenes and the complexities that, they guess, as they should, get to enjoy the game for what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And Watman getting a walk. So I was talking, and the statisticians are also going for their levels during this tournament. So I was speaking to one of our Victorians earlier today. She had passed the first half of her level 4 here over the first 2 days of the tournament, and the next section to go. But, you know, like, it just provides fantastic opportunities for the statisticians to do those assessments. And it's fouled back over our heads. Because we have some of the highest level of scorers who are able to do that here. Rachel Lack in the box. And it's going to be caught just in foul territory, leaving those 2 runners on base.
Well, of course, Joe, we've got umpire James English, Vivian Triplett, Umpire of the Year award recipient last year, who's here with us today.
Yeah.
So yes, as you say, a lot of experience within the ranks of both statisticians and the umpiring community here with us. And important that they get the recognition for their time and effort, as well as the players.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're lucky to have, you know, Australian officials that have the opportunity to be selected for WBSC tournaments internationally. We had a few last year in 2024, and awaiting the formal announcements of some of the opportunities for the Men's World Cup and with the World Games later this year.
So we've got Grace Rickson pitching to Madison Baker for New South Wales. Jenna Trim at first base. Catcher asking if she swung.
So Maddie Scott from South Australia, batting at the moment. Played in China, played in Redlands against China a couple of months ago.
Pops that up to second base, who I was just up to in my Round the Diamond, Alyssa Mile at second base for New South Wales. We have got Shaylin Watman at third base, Stacey McManus at shortstop. We've got Rachel Lack, Michelle Cox and Shannon Keevers at left, centre and right field. Charlize Callahan batting, playing left field today for New South Wales, for South Australia. She has been really solid at third base throughout this tournament so far. She's out in the outfield for this game. Swinging at that high pitch. popping that one up, but it'll land directly behind us. I've wondered if a ball lands directly on this tent above us. Hopefully it's strong enough to
I'm sure it will.
not
it'll,
come through.
it'll slow it down.
And strike 3.
South Australian dugout creating a little bit of noise. No jingles though.
No, they've become very proficient at using that water tub as a drum. Water bottles, I'm assuming there's some ice in those and making...
Well, that looks like some rocks to me.
Oh, does it? I can't see properly. Great pitch there.
Whatever works.
Erickson, absolutely.
Yep.
I'm actually wondering if the person on that drum, on the water tub, is actually a drummer. She's doing a pretty good job.
She's doing all right.
Fouling that off. That's Amelia Fidge on the drums. Roberts in the box for South Australia Stars. Sophie Roberts playing third base for South Australia today. And I'd have to see the replay for that. I can't quite see the batter's box, but I feel like she might have fouled that, hit that ball into herself for it to be a foul. Roberts shaping up for a bunt, pulling back, and the ball's inside. South Australia also finishing off their batting innings with a strikeout. And still 0 on the scoreboard.
So who are our coaches today, Joe, for this game?
Kerry Porter's the head coach of New South Wales, and Ben Lucas, head coach of South Australia.
So Kerry has been a head coach of the Junior Aussie Spirit, I think, in the past.
He's been around for a very long career. I shouldn't say prestigious rather than long. Highly experienced coach.
Yes, and Ben's got history in, I believe, fitness and sport, but has also done some high performance management for South Australia. Softball South Australia in the past as well.
He also used to be one of the participation coordinators for Softball South Australia.
So 2 coaches that know softball by the sounds of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tends to be the sport that you live and breathe.
Yes, there's definitely a lot of family connections in softball as well, and yeah, had the privilege last night to watch a short clip of the 1998 Gilley Shield footage, and Danny Moffat, who's here with the under-14s as a selector and coaches, was batting in that time, and we had Crudgington as a pitcher. And Bob does a little bit of work with us at Softball Australia, obviously being a head coach himself. And I believe there's also a relative of Lee Godfrey, who's our current under-18 head coach, was also in that footage last night. So, yeah, a few family connections over the decades.
That's fantastic to be able to dig those out. Stacey McManus in the box, leading off at the bottom of the second innings for New South Wales. Regan Diaz on the mound for South Australia. Leading off with a walk. Fantastic effort there to get the lead runner on that bunt. Has come in and picked it up straight across the diamond to second. Stacey's walk negated by the out at 2. Really nice hit between short and third. Ground ball, advancing the runners to 2 and 1.
Just a little bit of the breeze pick up in the last couple of minutes. It's been quite a warm week, overcast day today. We've had an afternoon that's been pretty dull on the wind front, so that breeze picking up now.
Gives a little bit of reprieve from the warmth. Michelle Cox up to bat. It's 29 degrees again today. We've had 25, 29, 29, having heat breaks the last few days. The last few games of yesterday, we had 5-minute breaks twice. Lovely hit up the middle through the infield, loading up the bases.
Yes, important to be able to manage the heat as a softball athlete in an outdoor summer sport primarily, and learning how to manage that for players is really important, particularly for these types of tournaments.
It's such a long week, long preparation, so they've been working extremely hard for months, some of these players. As we mentioned, the China series, some of them have gone straight into the under-23 nationals in December at Brisbane. Had a short break and rest over Christmas, hopefully, and then they've come to Gilley's right at the beginning of January.
Yeah, it's a big stretch.
But some of them are playing all year round, which, you know, builds up a huge amount of endurance and resilience. Fouled up first baseline.
Of course, next week, Joe, we have the under-16 tournament happening in Mirrabooka over in WA.
Yes.
So, yes, hopefully those under-16 boys and girls are preparing. It's going to be warm, no doubt, as well.
Yeah, 100%. I know that our Victorian kids certainly have been working extremely hard in their preparation and also preparing for the heat.
Well, that New South Wales dugouts raised their level again now, singing some songs.
Called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Shannon Keevers with loaded bases, 1 out. New South Wales certainly wanting to add to their score tally. Ball just high. Catcher checking with the umpire. Certainly some funny comments come out of the dugout.
Well, I mentioned before, Joe, some of our umpires at the tournament who've been to international tournaments in the last 12 months, and James English, you know, been able to go to the Aussie Spirit, follow the Aussie Spirit to the World Cup over in Italy midway through last year.
Yeah, that would be a brilliant opportunity.
Oh, she's missed it.
Oh dear. Okay, a little bit of potential lack of communication there on the South Australia field.
Yeah, just took the opportunity.
Ball not picked up by first base. Well backed up by second base, made the out. Just having a look at the replay. Ball jumping up over the base.
Got Chrissy Travers out there. Was also one of our other umpires that attended Canada Cup as a opportunity last year.
And the fielder could see that the runner was coming, but didn't quite let the catcher know in time. They had to tag the runner behind them. So that's let in another couple of runs for New South Wales, and they've got a runner on 1 and 3. Just having a little bit of a break, having a chat about potentially what just happened,
yes.
or, you know, talking about, all right, let's regroup.
Yeah, it's always a little bit challenging just to recover from those sorts of things that happen.
And Diaz coming off. But the fielder actually didn't touch the right base to make the out. She touched the orange base instead of the white. So just waiting to see what the call is and what's happening here. Got Ruby Fidge coming into pitch for South Australia. beautiful hit up the third baseline, bringing in 2 runs. So I was just getting clarification there. They're 1 out, New South Wales. That out was not made at first base. And that's a ball inside. It's a bit tricky here at this desk. I don't actually have a great view of the actual diamond. Another fantastic effort. We've seen so many attempts to get those out of reach fly balls, putting their body on the line. But that'll hit the grass and bring Young back into the batter's box to have another go. Runner at second base for New South Wales. Brought in 4 runs this innings to total 5.
Couldn't quite get there.
Beautiful pickup by shortstop. Made the out at 1. South Australia playing a slightly different team to what we've seen the last few games. This is actually the top 2 teams. New South Wales at the top of the standings at the moment. South Australia second. We're in round 2 at the moment. Round 1 was completed earlier this morning. And a ground ball to second base for a routine out and side away. So our 9 a.m. and our 12 p.m. games finished off round 1.
That wind's really starting to pick up now. Joe, how does that affect them as they come into the next innings?
I think the main thing is that it'll hold the ball up in the air. It's actually coming from a different direction to what it has been the last few days. It's coming from across us. We've had it directly coming from right field into our blowing the entire
into home
diamond full of dirt into us. So, you know, we haven't seen a lot of anything that goes really high will get held up by the wind, but I'm sure these batters will be looking to try and keep those hits nice and hard and flat, hitting line drives rather than high in the air fly balls that are going to give those fielders a good opportunity to get to it and catch. Having said that, it's not windy enough to really have a massive impact, to be honest. But that is something that the outfielders in particular will take note of. Nice flat throw over by New South Wales catcher Madison Baker.
Nice hit, but caught.
Didn't really have to move very much there. Centre fielder Michelle Cox could do that in her sleep. And a slap going directly to third base for the out. Ruby Fidge up to bat for South Australia with 2 out. Starting off with a cold strike. Low and outside potentially. Definitely low. It's only the 3rd innings, but South Australia wanting to get at least 1 run in and not allow New South Wales to get too much ahead too early.
Yes, they've been quite dominant all week, haven't they?
They certainly have. They've been really close games, but, you know, the scoreboards haven't reflected the quality of the game and how close they've been. However, New South Wales certainly winning the most amount of games and scoring the most, hitting the most runs in. Prior to this game, if I look at the symmetrics, New South Wales have 45 runs for and 11 against.
And there she goes. Can't quite make it.
Great out there by Shaylin Watman. 3rd base for New South Wales. So South Australia being second, 14 runs for and 7 against. Queensland have actually, so New South Wales and South Australia 6 games up until before this one. Queensland, Vic, ACT and WA have played 7. Yes. Queensland 33 runs for and 13 against, being in 3rd place.
So we've got ACT and South Australia on at 7th or on at the fight for the final match tonight. Later on tonight, I believe. Would that be right?
I believe so, yes. That's correct. Yep. And at the moment, over on Diamond 1, so you can actually watch that live stream of the Diamond 1 game.
So that's Victoria and Tasmania.
Yes.
Playing.
So Victoria lost their first 3 games on day 1 and have come back very strong. Won their 3 games yesterday and won the game prior to this as well. They'll be wanting to keep that streak going.
Mm-hmm.
That fly ball, centre field just using her glove to cover her eyes from the sun and making that catch nice and easily.
Yes, the Melbourne Weathers certainly doing its typical routine of being overcast most of the afternoon and now the bright sun's back out again.
Exactly.
You can feel the heat. Winds drop back down. And the South Australians have got the double fixture tonight as the extra challenge.
Yeah, it's a really tight schedule here over the week to get the 2 rounds in. So we're seeing a lot of double headers. That's a great pitch. Games where, I mean, obviously the fixturing, try not to have too many double headers, but it's unavoidable.
Yeah, it's a tough job.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice hard hit ground ball by McManus. It did look for a second like it was gloved, but just coming out there, Sophie Roberts couldn't quite get it, but it was certainly a good effort to stop it, because if that had gotten through, highly likely it was a double. Another nice pitch. Catcher Madison Baker in the batter's box for New South Wales.
Ooh.
Ground ball beautifully picked up. Shortstop Madison Scott took that herself to second base to make the put out and then gets the assist.
Very
throwing
well
it
played.
to first. Beautiful double play to end the innings for New South Wales. Well done. I love seeing a good double play.
I know, it's exciting.
It is. So the umpires for this game, we've got Leith Roberts at the plate, Chrissy Travers at first base, Alan Walsh at second base, and James English at third base. As I said earlier, a lot of work going into coordinating the schedule for the umpire. All the umpires, I'm not even sure how many there is for this tournament, but being a double tournament, we've got the open umpiring crew, and then we've got the under-14s. A lot of mentoring being done, particularly for the under-14 regional tournament with the umpires.
Yes, I also met a gentleman yesterday who's come across from Canada to have a mentoring exchange opportunity and learn what we do here, and also gives us the opportunity to talk about what they do in Canada as well.
That was a fantastic play. You don't often see a 9-3, and New South Wales are pretty happy about that, rightly so. Was a fantastic hit, line drive out to left field. Left fielder was coming in on that though, nice and aggressively, Shannon Keevers, and made a beautiful throw to first base to get that out.
I say I do love the dramatics of when an umpire calls someone out, Joe.
Yes.
It's a highlight. Chrissy Travers doing it better than most.
Absolutely. And you see them called differently for the different plays. If it's a really nice, close, bang-bang play like that, they'll really emphasise that, yep, that was out. And I'm just letting you know. Oh, got the glove to it. Could see her lining that up. Really great effort.
Sensing a little bit of a change in the vibe now. Things are starting to heat up a little bit.
Absolutely. That line drive was nearly Peterson, and we've got Jessica Rhodey up to bat. Fouling that off. Had a pitching change. Ladner in for New South Wales. Chantal Ladner. I think it was day one. We saw her pitch here on Diamond 2. May have had other appearances that I haven't been here for. Nice piece up the middle. One out and 2 on base for South Australia. Madison Scott up to the plate. One out, her job's to move the runners around, or even better, score the runner at second base. See, those runners are on the move, anticipating contact.
Yeah, you have a tripod that you can bring. Here. You have a tripod you can bring.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Gardner just having a look at the stats information. Scott disappointed in hitting the ball to third, allowing New South Wales to get that lead runner. And we'll bring Callaghan up to the plate. Callaghan looking at the umpire. Didn't like that pitch. And another called strike. fouling that one off. Feeling the pressure at 2 strikes to protect the plate.
Maddie Scott itching to get off that first base.
Yeah, it's getting a very aggressive lead, both of them. Wanting to make sure that they're ahead as far as they can when the ball's put in play, but that one too low for contact. Full count on Callahan and 2 out. Having a go at that low one from strike 3.
So, Joe, for the history buffs out there, the first official interstate carnival was held in 1947 and organised by Matt Gilley. And this open women's competition is named the Gilley Shield in his honour. Mac was the inaugural president of the Queensland Softball Association and made a significant contribution to the sport.
Umpire, I think, having some dust in his eyes. Just taking a little bit of a break. Mile up to bat for New South Wales. Ball low. Thank you for that info, Claire. I've actually been meaning to have a look and see what the history of the Gilley Shield was.
I'm always intrigued to learn about the history.
Yeah.
And softball in Australia certainly has a very rich history. We often talk about the 1965 World Cup that was played around the Albert Park area, which is now where the Softball Australia offices are located.
Great contact down the left, down into left field. Picked up and thrown to second.
the story of Matt Gilley is quite interesting. So if you do want to dive in a little bit more, there's some information on the Softball Australia website about the full story of Mac and his involvement.
Mile on 2. Michelle Cox in the batter's box. Still checking with the umpire what his thoughts on that pitch was. Ball in a very similar spot. Dugout chanting, encouraging 3 in a row. Actually haven't heard this much singing coming out of the New South Wales dugout up until now.
On day 3, round 2, starting to
keep themselves sane.
Trying to keep themselves, yes, a little bit delirious maybe.
It's fun. It just really goes to show the camaraderie and the spirit amongst the teams. It's really important to keep yourself up and about regardless of the situation, because it's really easy to become exhausted. It's mentally draining as much as it is physically draining playing softball, but also for this being their 3rd day in a row. You've got the travel to take into account as well, the fact that they're staying away from home.
Yes, the key is definitely in the preparation. See some of the more experienced players who've had the opportunity to travel and play have those little tips and tricks to get through these sorts of situations, plus still play at their best.
Foul? Yeah, absolutely, and no doubt those more experienced players passing those tips on to the rookies. And coaches. The coaches at this tournament have all very experienced, been around the block. And the ball on the outside.
Now, Joe, you're never too old to start playing softball, right?
Yeah, correct.
But what would you say to a younger person who's wanting to get started? Where do they start? Oh, she comes home. And another.
Triple. Brilliant hit. Brilliant hit out to... Didn't see if that was picked up by by right field or centre field. That drove in the 2 runners that were on base. Here we go for the replay. It was fairly well right in the middle of them and picked up by right fielder, but she couldn't pick it up cleanly, which is probably what resulted in that extra base.
Yeah, a little bit of a fumble, just giving them some more time. So yes, what are your hot tips, Joe, for a young person wanting to get started in softball?
Hot tips, I'd say go to the Softball Victoria website, Softball Australia, Google softball in your state. I know I can talk to our Softball Victoria website because I know that in and out. Pitching change here for South Australia.
Looks like Smith stepping up.
Bringing in Paige Smith, exactly. Yeah, there's so many benefits to softball, particularly for young kids. We do a lot of work in schools around Victoria and talk to the teachers about the range of benefits and the fact that softballs involves so many different skills. It's so multifaceted, and it's also an extremely strategic game. So it's really good for the kids who love to think about it and, the decision-making element of the game. But that, really well-rounded skill acquisition as well is a really big highlight for a lot of parents that I talk to. They're saying that their child they don't have to be good at everything, but they can be good at whether it's hitting, throwing, catching, and then as they develop their love, they just tend to get better and better at the rest of the elements of the game as well. And then the amount of confidence that we see grow and develop in kids as that happens is really rewarding as a coach. And the feedback we get from parents about the growth in the child's personality and, the way that they start to interact with other kids, and that teamwork and camaraderie is really amazing.
Yeah, it's great for building confidence.
Picked up nicely by left fielder.
A nice clean hit by Jenna Trim.
Charlize Callahan out in left field, scooped that up to keep that to a single. Very good contact.
Bit of a shout out to Nerida Wern, who's out there today as one of the New South Wales coaches, but has just been accepted into the Australian Institute of Sport Gen 32 program designed to help support up-and-coming coaches, and Nerida's certainly had her fair share of experience coaching in softball.
Airedale being substituted in. Yeah, we had Nerida in the commentary a couple of days ago. I think it was day one.
Oh, that's good. It's obviously sharing or transitioning that experience with Lee Godfrey, who's been part of that program for the last couple of years as well. Lee's here as a selector for this week, so with different hat on.
Yes, we've had the selector sitting next to us here at Diamond 2. And, it's been fantastic being able to ask some questions and pitch outside. Just get their insights into what's happening in the game. It's
Yes.
like having another set of eyes.
Yes, also not an easy job.
No, definitely not an
But
easy
they're
job.
very methodical with their record keeping.
They've had the radar on some of these pitches as well.
Yes, we've got our convener of the women's program, convener of selectors, Janelle Berendt, who's here guiding the selectors and managing their week.
Airedale draws a walk, putting runners on 1 and 2 for New South Wales here. Bottom of the 4th with none out, and Watman up to bat. just about to say Shaylin Watman, a really good solid contact
Yes.
hitter. And she's ripped that over the right
She's
fielder's
demonstrated
head.
it perfectly. Perfectly
Probably
placed.
lucky I didn't say it, because sometimes when
You
I
might
say
have
it, it
jinxed
won't
her.
happen.
No, a very clean hit, perfectly positioned. And New South Wales solidifying their dominance during this match.
Rhodey chasing that down all the way to the fence. Great celebrations there.
So what advice would Ben Lucas be giving his South Australian team at this point in the game? Joe, do you think?
So they've just, the game, because of the score,
Yes.
so we've finished the game with the run ahead rule. The 10-0 scoreline means that it's not, we were going through that yesterday.
So the game ends.
Exactly, game ends, leaving South Australia on 0, New South Wales on 10, and just, as you said, solidifying their dominance. They've been extremely strong here throughout the tournament and sitting at the top of the ladder, and they've just beaten second place by a fairly decent margin. We will finish up our broadcast there, and we'll be back for the 5 o'clock game. Sorry.
No.
7.
Oh, you're getting delirious too, Joe,
No,
this
because
time.
my watch flicks. Every time I accidentally press the button, it flicks. So it's actually 6:20 right now.
It is, correct.
I am delirious though. That's another, and
So
so that's why I'm going home now, Claire.
So we're here.
We're on day 3, 7:30 ACT versus South Australia. I am heading off, as I just said. So what we're going to do is wait for the sun again. We started to, we had 7:30 on the schedule. We're going to probably start the game at about 8:20, similar to the last couple of days. We'll finish up there, come back with the broadcast. Hopefully we'll have a commentator for that, but as I said, I am heading off because I've been here for 14 and a half hours for the last 2 days.
I'm sure we'll be able to find somebody.
We'll wrangle somebody together for you. Thank you very much for listening wherever you are, and we hope you're enjoying the Gilley Shield here at Waverley.